Go. From the Silver Creek Studios, I'm Jared, and this is the BFIBs Almanac. It's Sunday night after the opening weekend series, and as I'm sure many of you would agree, we are all disappointed in the outcome. The Cardinals are 1-3 after their first 4 games, which is last place in the division, last place in all of baseball. Now, there's a lot of other 1-3 teams, but not where we hoped to see them after the opening weekend. So they did score 19 runs and allowed 19 runs. So in that sense, it was fairly even with the Brewers, but the outcome did not favor the Cardinals. They lost game 1. Michaelis was pitching. They lost 5-4, and he allowed all 5 earned runs. Not a sharp outing by Michaelis at all. Gave up some home runs, some walks. Not what he normally does, but the Brewers are potent, and they took advantage and put some runs up. Game 2 was another story. That was the lone win for the weekend, and we won 9-5. That was the game that Flaherty started, but John Gant actually got the win. We got to see some fireworks from Paul Goldschmidt with the 3 home runs, so that was very cool to see after the 3 strikeouts in the first game. The third game was another loss, 4-2. Dakota Hudson took the loss. He gave up all 4 runs. 1 was unearned. Not a sharp outing for him. Not what we had seen from him in spring. He was not getting the ground balls that we were used to seeing. He actually kind of was. I think the only fly balls that he gave up were the 3 home runs. So all of his outs were ground ball outs. So, but not what we hoped to see. He looked very dominant. He earned that 5th starter role, or 3rd starter in this case, but did not look good in that game. And then finally, the game 4 today was another disappointing loss, 5-4. Hicks took the loss after Waka looked really good. He did give up 1 home run, but that was it, to Yelich, of course. But the bullpen was not sharp today. They coughed up the lead. We were up 4-1. And ended up losing 5-4, giving up those runs in just the last couple innings. So all in all, not a sharp weekend for the Cardinals. Michael Wacha was the only starter to last 6 innings for either team. The Brewers starters didn't go deep either, but Cardinal starters did not go deep. The relievers were inconsistent, except Miller. He was kind of consistently mediocre. Miller has not looked good, really, so far in spring, and not looked good in this opening series. His command isn't sharp. He's only throwing fastballs and sliders, and the hitters are recognizing and laying off the slider and sitting on his fastball. So he's just, I think as he sharpens that up and makes those 2 pitches harder to decipher and discern, then hitters are going to have to guess more, and hopefully he will be more effective. But right now, he's not looking good. Leone and Gant have been good, but also have allowed a couple walks each. They got some strikeouts mixed in there. But, overall, the relievers have been hit or miss. Hicks has been really good one time and not good another. Same with Reyes. He had a really good inning and then didn't look sharp the next time out. I think everybody's been talking about this bullpen being a point of strength for the team. Reyes, Miller, Hicks closing out 7th, 8th, and 9th. People thought that was going to be a shutdown scenario, and it may be. I think it probably will be, but they did not come out of spring and starting this series ready to go. Unlike the Brewers relievers, who look virtually unhittable, especially Josh Hader. That guy, whoever said we got the best left-handed reliever in baseball was smoking something, because Josh Hader is crazy good. He is throwing heat. All of his pitches that he threw in all of his outings against the Cardinals were fastballs, and it wasn't even close. Nobody is catching up to his pitches. So He even had an immaculate inning, which is, all 3 outs were strikeouts and 3 strikes per hitter. So 9 pitches. He was just mowing guys down. It wasn't even funny. That's going to need to change. We are going to need to show that we can do some damage off a hater. Jose Martinez did give the one ball a ride in game 1. He got robbed of a home run by Kane, but it was, barely out. But he did put good wood on it, so to speak. So I don't know. The hitters are going to need to show some different approaches or something to these Brewers relievers. We're going to face them a lot in this first month. We're going to have 10 games, I believe, against them. And, if the book is out on our hitters and the approach that these relievers are taking, then that's going to spread through the league, and we'll see. So I don't want to sound too doom and gloom, but man, that was very disappointing to see some of these pitchers just blowing fastballs by guys, like even Goldschmidt. Now, he was kind of up and down too. He'd go up there and swing and miss at 3 straight pitches, and then come right back out and jack a home run off the same pitcher. So some of that is, getting another look at a guy the next time through. You haven't seen him before. Different approach, maybe. I don't know. And it's just baseball. Look, you're going to fail a lot of the time and you're going to succeed some of the time. But very kind of inconsistent for the offense. The Cardinals had 47 strikeouts in these first 4 games. That's a lot. And they only had 12 walks, which is not really a lot. They did have 9 home runs. Nearly all of the runs we scored this weekend came on home runs. I can only think of offhand, Colton Wong had an RBI hit that wasn't a home run. I'm sure there were some others, but it feels like nearly every run we scored came off the home run. And that's concerning to me. I think if that, and it appears to be the approach, they keep talking about launch angle and exit velocity and all that stuff. And I know that the approach this year with this new hitting coach, Jeff Albert, was supposed to not be going for home runs all the time. It was supposed to be contact and line drives. And sometimes you'll run into a home run, kind of the old Pujols approach. But so far, these guys look like they're swinging for the fences. And when they are hitting them, they're jacking them. But there's way too many strikeouts, not enough walks, not enough balls in play. So that's a little concerning. The power is fun to watch, but we can't live and die by the home run all season long. The use of Miller has been odd to me, and I have to wonder, do they not trust him? Now, based on what we've seen, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't trust him, but there were a couple situations where I thought he would come in. There was a perfectly made situation to face their lefties, and they went with Gant instead. Who can get lefties out. He's shown that, but why is he here if you're not going to use him? And then even today, in today's game, he came in to face Yelich. They brought him in after Reyes got into some trouble, and he basically pitched around Yelich. I mean, it was obvious from the first pitch that they weren't going after him. Now, I can understand not going after him. Don't give him something to hit. Don't tee it up for him. But why are you bringing in a different pitcher? Why are you bringing in that lefty specialist that you signed in the offseason to face their lefty stud hitter if you're just going to throw junk off the plate that he can't hit? Now, maybe they said, hey, try to see if you can get him to jump on one early and, swing and miss or pop it up, but don't throw him anything he can hit. And they didn't on the first pitch. So after, a 1-0 count, they were just throwing him junk to get him on base. But then there was a righty coming up, Braun, and, Miller can get either lefties and righties out. But it just seemed odd to me that you switch out Reyes, who has been pitching pretty well, and can get lefties out, to bring in the lefty who you don't really use against the left-handed batter. You just pitched around that batter and then had him face a righty who ended up getting an RBI hit off your lefty pitcher. So the matchup just really seemed weird to me. I don't know. I didn't really understand the approach, and I haven't had a chance to see or hear Schilt be asked about it or talk about it. So maybe he did, and I'll try to find some footage and get some answers to that. But I just thought it was a little odd. They didn't use the lefty the way you would think. So anyway, we'll see how that progresses, especially as Miller seems to be less effective than we all thought he would be. All that being said, the Brewers look legit. They are scary good. Their starting pitching was effective. Even today, Corbin Burns, who was a former reliever, who was making his first start today, and he ended up getting roughed up a little by some home runs, but even he started out the first 9 outs that he got through the 3 innings were all strikeouts. And I think he maybe had another strikeout in there. But, he was just mowing guys down, making them look silly. And the relievers, of course, were dominant, especially Josh Hader. And we talked after the first game that the Brewers were going to have a real problem with their bullpen. They've got some injuries. Knebel is going to actually miss the season with Tommy John. Before, we weren't really sure. We suspected that. But they're going to start getting some of these guys back, some of them sooner than later. And they already look like a dominant bullpen, and they're going to get some arms back who they expect to be better than what they have. So I think their bullpen's going to be fine, and their offense is just scary good. They can put up numbers with the best of them. So I don't know. I think the Brewers are better than I thought they were going to be. I knew they were going to contend. The Cardinals and Cubs and Brewers are the top 3 teams, or I think they will be. But right now, man, the Brewers look better than the Cardinals. I hate to say that, but the Cardinals don't look to be in the same league, so to speak, as the Brewers. So something's going to need to change. We're going to need to improve a little bit, get more consistent. The bullpen's going to have to lock down, and these starters are going to have to go deeper in games. So basically, all around, we need to play better. I do think our defense has looked better. Colton Wong's actually looking really good. He's putting the ball all over the field, getting RBI hits, hitting home runs. He looks pretty solid. Goldschmidt's been fine at first. He did have an error the other day, just on a ball that he dropped. And it was a tough throw from Wong that kind of handcuffed him a little bit. But so overall, the defense has been pretty good. A couple errant throws by infielders, but for the most part, pretty solid. We haven't seen any sloppy outfield play. So, it's early. We'll see how that goes. But the defense does look like it's going to be better than it has been. Coming up, we've got the Pirates tomorrow. Depending on when you're listening to this, on Monday. And then there's the normal opening day off day, which I really hate. But so they play the Pirates on Monday, then they're off on Tuesday, and then they play the Pirates again on Wednesday. And that has to do with building in a day for rainouts in case opening day gets rained out. They can still have the game the next day. I don't know. I think it's really annoying. You get fans all hyped up to the start of the season, and then you make everybody take a day off, and you kind of lose interest. And not that you lose interest, but there's less to talk about when you have that off day. It's just kind of odd to me, but whatever. So Monday and Wednesday against the Pirates, and then they come home Thursday for the home opener against San Diego, and that will be Jack Flaherty pitching in that game. So on Monday, we're going to see Wainwright against Chris Archer, which is kind of their ace. So it wasn't going to line up that way, but the Pirates had a rained-out game and shifted their schedule around, and now Wainwright, our number 5 starter, will be facing their number 1 starter. So that's unfortunate, but, it's not like Wainwright isn't a capable pitcher, and he's a veteran, he's crafty. I don't think he has the stuff to compete with other teams' aces, but we'll see. He used to be an ace. He still might be an ace. So anyway, that's all I got. A fairly short episode this time. I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts on the whole opening weekend series. It was very disappointing. The offense was not what we'd hoped to see, even with all those home runs. I really expected to see more balls put in play, more line drives, less strikeouts, just better approaches overall, and we didn't really see that. And the pitching was not consistent. The guys who we've been able to count on in the past, like Michaelis, to not walk guys and to not give up home runs, was giving up home runs. And some of that is, Michaelis didn't look that sharp in spring to end out the spring. And there's this, this narrative that, it doesn't matter, it's spring training, right? Oh, they're working on other stuff. Well, come to find out, it did matter. Michaelis wasn't sharp. He wasn't ready to pitch in the first game, and he's given up multiple home runs. I don't know. I understand that mindset of, well, these guys are working out some kinks in spring, and it doesn't matter if they get rocked, or it doesn't matter if these hitters aren't ready, they're not taking this pitch, or they're swinging at that pitch, or whatever. They'll be good to go. Well, I see that from other teams. I see other pitchers look damn sharp when they come in, and they are mowing our guys down. And I see these hitters come in, hitting balls all over the field and out of the park, and our guys aren't. So those guys were using their spring training to get sharp and to be ready and not work on some pitch that they're not going to use in the regular season, or, not work on their pitch selection as hitters and go after a pitch that they're not used to. They're ready to go when the season started. At least the Brewers were, and I'm seeing a lot of other teams putting up a ton of runs. And it's kind of frustrating to have that narrative and that mindset of, well, it's only spring, don't worry. Well, here we are, and we're 1-3 and have looked pretty mediocre out there. So this whole, don't worry, it's only spring training, I don't really buy it. I didn't buy it before. I kind of made myself believe it this year, but here we go. So that's me overreacting as a fan, one of the BFIBs, worrying about the team, thinking they don't look good. It's early, but you'd really hate to be 5, 6, 7 games out of it by the midway through the month. So I don't know. We'll see. They'll be better. I'm looking forward to opening day this coming week, and everybody's going to look sharper. The offense is going to come around. The bullpen's going to lock down, and they're going to be studs, right? Let's hope so. All right. Well, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. If you have any suggestions or ideas you'd like me to talk about, feel free to write in. You can email bfibsalmanac@gmail.com. You can contact on social media, Twitter and Instagram @bfibsalmanac. And I would also encourage you to check out my other podcast, Get a Load of This. We recently started doing video, so we posted an episode tonight, which we recorded video for, but I didn't post the video yet. Still got to do some editing. But we'll have some video soon. That's a whole other vibe on that podcast. It's a lot of fun. 3 of us going back and forth, ranting about all kinds of stuff. Who knows what. But we have a good time. I think our listeners have a good time. So check it out. Get a load of this. So I thank you for listening. And until next time, I'm Jared, and this is the BFIBs Almanac.